Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. Today I am making roasted veal shanks. What we need right now is 2 ribs of celery. We're going to dice up, and we're going to need an onion, which we're going to dice up. And we've got a carrot we have to do, as well as 2 pieces of garlic. And that's what I'm getting ready to do. I know it's early, but this is going to take a couple hours to cook, which will give me time to do other things that I have to get done around the home today. Well, I ordered myself another cookbook. You think I would learn my lesson, and I've got 4 on hold until I can get some more money. Just learn so much, you know. You see how my hand, now if I have and held this knife like this and I come down, it could go this way and slice my fingers. That's why you give this support here with your 2 fingers, right here, and these 2, you see? And then you use these in the back. It supports that knife from sliding down on your finger and cutting your fingers. That looks pretty even, doesn't it? And all the chops. Sometimes I can't see how much you can see because I have a black line down at the bottom there with pause, this, that on the bottom. So I'm not always sure you see everything. I think I set it right, and then it's never set right. Just peeling a carrot here. See how nice the chops are? And you just take your time. See what they taught us in homemaking. I don't even know if they teach homemaking anymore. Remember, leave this side intact, because when we cut the onion, you can cut this part here. Because these are the roots right here, and you want those intact. So when we go to chop this, it doesn't fall apart on you. Wherever this one came from, they had a very cold winter. And you say, how can you tell? Because the skin is so thick. When it's that thick, it's used to protect the onion. That's why farmers knew they were going to have a bad winter or not. They could see the peeling, which would tell them, root vegetables would tell them it was going to be a bad season. That's how they knew. Set it down and cut right through the middle. Now when we go to chop this, this will hold everything together, this part right here. See how I don't go all the way? I can't show you any closer than where you are. I've gotten such nice compliments from all of you, and that is very, very nice, and I thank you for them. Now don't go all the way here, you stop about here doing this part. Getting a little harder as you get higher up. They're all intact like a flower, leaves, and that's what you're doing. See? Isn't that interesting how it comes out? And if you have sharp knives, you really have to be careful. I had to buy some gardening equipment because all the garden equipment is just broken and worn out. But I like to work with my hands in the yard, like crafting and stuff that I do. Of course, the animals are eating everything that I try to grow. So I think they're gonna have healthy babies, if nothing else, from me. But I got about 120 strawberries. I'm hoping they don't eat them all and leave me some. Whatever. You never know what they're going to do till they do it. And then that's it. I've been watching shows that show me people who cannot cook and how old they are. And I am just like shocked. We have lost so much. If anything happens, women are going to be up the creek without a paddle, and so are men. Things that we learned will have to be retaught and relearned. Happened once, it'll happen again. Okay, I think that's all of the vegetables we have to do. Chop, 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 chop. Oh, when do I put these in? All right, we need, if you have fresh sage, they want 2 tablespoons of fresh sage. So that means 2 teaspoons for me, or somewhere in that vicinity. This is going to be the flavoring. What I have to do is pick all the stems off of this. If I find them, believe you me, I'll find them. It's one thing I hate about sage. I wish it would be I have to replant it every year, and that just doesn't make sense in my book. I have enough things I have to do. But I might put the money out every year and just buy a sage plant. It's a beautiful plant, you know. Okay, I can't use that one. Here's some more. Take the leaves off. Put the stems there. That's not one. Powdered sage, you might be able to use in bread or something, but in stews and stuff, it just loses the flavor completely. That's why I'm thinking about growing a sage plant every year. I haven't done it yet. I think about it though. I might go to Lowe's and see if they have it there. I know I use gurneys a lot. I don't know if you know about gurneys, but I love gurneys. My girlfriend likes Jimmy's seeds, so we each have our own favorite. And she said she's looking forward to her strawberries. I said, well, they demolished mine because I didn't feed the yard, and the animals came and proceeded to just pull them out of the ground and eat them. I had like 150, I think, and now I'm down to like 100. I just bought 100. Got about 160. But they just go. You don't feed those plants and they can't get any food. They let you know they're not happy. I just want to make sure there's no sticks in this. And there's one I missed. Another one. Because if I could dehydrate and I buy the plant, I wouldn't have the stems and I'd just take the leaves off. Not grind them up, but you know, just dry them and leave them in a jar. Then I'd have them right there for me. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to make an effort to get a sage. I got to clean an area for some herbs. Because my rosemary is taking over. Where I put it, I mean, it's a big bushel now, and it's squeezing out my oregano and thyme. Literally squeezing them out. There's another one. Is that a root or a stem? Okay. So if you have dry, 2 teaspoons. If you have fresh, 2 tablespoons. Always remember, if you're using, they say fresh and you don't have fresh, do 1/3 of it. So if they say a tablespoon, you need a fresh, and you don't have fresh, use a teaspoon for every tablespoon. All right, now I'm using my Dutch oven because I have 3 Veal Shanks right here. I have already rinsed them and patted them. Hold on, I'm making yogurt at the same time. I've got a few things going in here. I have to stop for a minute. This out of the way for a minute. When the yogurt's ready to be made, stop everything. You have to get it going. Okay, we can get back to this now. All right, you need 2 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of oil and a pan. I'm using my Dutch oven. I would recommend a Dutch oven. I'm gonna light this. St. Patty's matches. They're green. Isn't that cute? Okay, this has got to melt. Just trying to get you higher so you can see more. I'm cracking some black pepper while this melts. Just give me a minute. Now this dish goes very, very well with French bread, sliced and toasted. Maybe it might be garlic bread, I'm not sure. I don't have that. I didn't make any bread. I'm still trying to finish up what I have. And they said you can even serve it in a soup bowl. Just when it's done cooking, just take the meat off and serve it that way. Or I'll probably serve it with the shank. They wanted these washed and dried before you do this. Let's put it this way. We're just going to brown these at this point. And the term that they would use in cooking would be braising. So they say braise the meat. This is what they want you to do.
put it over medium heat if I didn't tell you. I am sorry about that. When you get done cooking this is going to be so tender it's going to fall off the bone. And you say that that's their legs, they do a lot of standing and running and stuff. But as tough as it is now, when we get done, it's going to be so tender. So sometimes when you think it's going to be tough, if you cook it right, it'll make it extremely tender. This is going to take a bit. Let me finish and I'll be back. Okay, I ground up my pepper. They want you to sprinkle it with salt and pepper. I have mine mixed here, so I'm going to sprinkle it here. They don't tell you how much to add. That's pretty much your decision. And I use my mixed salt, if you're wondering why it's green. Mix your vegetables up with the seasoning, and now you're going to add them along with it. You have to admit, that's easy, right? I told you this is a very easy recipe. Now after a bit, I'm going to be adding stock to this. But right now, get a cup of wine, white dry wine. It doesn't have to be the most expensive because we're cooking it. And remember, we're going to cook the alcohol out of it. All we want is the flavor. This is why when you use these liquors, you're only going to get the flavor of them. So they can put it into candies, they can put it into meals, and you don't have to worry about your children. As long as it's cooked, they're fine. But you're going to need 1 cup of wine, and we'll be adding that into this in a bit. Just checking to see how they're cooking on the bottom. Pour a cup of wine in. It's a dry white wine. And like I will always tell you, don't get the most expensive to do this. Be reasonable. Now you're going to add 2 cups of stock. whichever one you want. I am using potato water and my bone broth, which I want to get those minerals and stuff for our joints so we don't end up with arthritis. So that's why I'm using a whole cup of that and a whole cup of potato water, because I have potato water left. I use it like stocks. So this is where I go different with the recipes. I'll add my stocks and my whey and potato waters and stuff that I collect. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. You can see the potato starch is sitting on this. You know what else I'm going to add to this? I haven't used it in a bit. I have some more Jerusalem artichoke powder that I made, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon in and just mix it with it, because you know Jerusalem artichokes are high in insulin. And they're quirky little potatoes, but I already have some in the yard growing, and I think it'd be nice to add some to this. I hadn't done it. I didn't want to use it all up in 1 year. I had almost half a gallon, and I just used a small area and planted 6 artichokes, left it for a year or two, feeding them potato fertilizer, and the next thing I know is I went out there and there wasn't 1 inch that didn't have, and I thought I got all the Jerusalem artichokes, but I just found out when spring came, I've got another 50 plants. They're just coming up, shooting up. I'm sure there's more than 50, but there's a lot. Now you're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to turn it down to simmer, and we're going to cook this. We'll see how it comes out. It smells nice already with everything I've already put into it. See, when you use water, you don't get all these other added flavors, and you think there's a lot of waste as well. And this is what I try to show you, how you can use a lot of the things that you throw out. You can actually use if you just take a little bit of time to help you help yourself. Now, in about an hour, turn these so the other side can be in the fluid cooking. And we're going to simmer this about 2 hours, but I want to bring it to a lovely boil. Once this comes to a good boil, they want you to leave the lid partially off. Now they say partially off. I knew it as leave the lid ajar. So you can see the different terms I'm having to learn. As I go through this, I'm having to learn all these new terms again. My grandmother used one, my mother used another, now chefs are using another. Darn. Okay, so I'll see you in about an hour, or maybe 2. But remember, after 1 hour, rotate the meat so the other side can be in the stock and stuff and cook. Okay, it's been 1 hour, well, a little over. Now we're going to turn the meat.
be very careful that you don't burn yourself. And the meat is falling off the bone. It's really, really tender. But it's not going to go that way. We'll have to go this way. So you gotta turn that one. Okay, now we're going to cook it for another hour. It's already falling off the bones. So you know, like I said, this might be a tough piece of meat, but if you cook it right, it really comes out tender. So I will see you in another hour, okay? Okay, they're done. As you can see, here they are right here. We're gonna take them out now. Where am I gonna put them where they can? I'm thinking of where to put them so they can cool. So, let me see. They don't drain too much. I should be able to put them on this. That's the bone marrow coming out. We're actually setting them just to cool so we can handle them. Put them over here to cool. Now I'm going to have to strain some of this, so I have to move you back here as I get stuff I'm going to have to use. Yeah, this is it. Use the bigger one. I want it higher up. Yeah, that's what I want. I don't have a food mill, so I'm going to have to do it this way, sort of mash it. Get as much nutrients as you can out of it. And believe it or not, it will make a difference. Okay. Just putting that in my compost. All right, now they want us to strain the fat from this. Now, I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to fall on my lecithin to do what it's supposed to do. And let me get a saucepan. This will do just nicely. this out of the way because it's cool. See, a lot of people strain the fat off. I don't have the equipment for it. I can't afford it right now. I know there's fat in here I have to get rid of. So what I'm going to do is, I know lecithin, which is 2 B vitamins, are going to sit there and it eats fat up. So that's great. I'll just add lecithin in here and let it eat the fat up for me. And you're saying, oh, but it's granular. Don't worry about it. Granular lecithin will melt with the heat. See, when I know these tricks, I can get around it. Now, if your sauce is too thin, we're going to reduce it. Don't worry, we'll get to the meat in a bit. Let me see how much do I want. I'm knowing lamb the way I know it. 2 tablespoons, maybe a little more. As this gets hot, granulars will melt and take the fat with them. So see, our liver actually produces a tablespoon of this every day, but we eat so much fat, even if it makes a tablespoon, it can't get rid of the fat. And then you have the other people who sit there and say, I'm not eating any fat, and not realizing that the kidneys need fat, the organs need fat, the heart needs fat around it. We need the fat, it's just not so much. Now I added 2 B vitamins, and you're saying, well, what are you going to do with the other B vitamins? Well, I have the leftover polenta and leftover pasta that I used, plus I used stock in it, the bone, and I used potato water, which I cooked my potatoes in, which also have nutrients in them, and I left the skins on so all those nutrients spilled in. So that's how I get around that. And when I made the pasta, the polenta, I used vegetable stock. So there's B vitamins in there too, so I don't have to worry. This is a little thin, and I want it to thicken up. So I might reduce it just a little bit. But we'll see. Now as this lecithin is melting and taking care of this fat problem I have here, I'm going to go ahead and start taking the meat off of this. See? Whoa, it's hot. I need a cutting board to do this. I don't want to dull my knife, and I'm trying to be careful. Oh, that's good. That has a nice flavor on it. I'll let you simmer. Around those bones. Let's see. When I get to the bones, it's harder for me to get the meat off. I do want to cut it up some. Oh, don't burn your fingers. Oh, God. Put the meat back in as we're reducing it. Get around that bone. You find the bones when you get up at the joint. A little difficult to separate the meat because you got to get around those bones. What am I going to do with these bones? Well, I haven't cooked the stuff out of them yet, so you know I'm going to put them in stock in the bone broth. I'll pressure cook those with the other ones. Oh, God. So I'm not going to waste anything, definitely. So I'm going to put it to work. So I'll get more out of the lamb shanks. See, I can handle the bone, but when I get up that joint, it's really hot. And the meat where it's thick, oh God, it has not let go of that heat yet. Good bone. See, I couldn't stab this, so I know it's a lot of minerals in there. I don't want to waste them. Okay. I know you're hot. But I can feel it. My fingers are very warm. I'll show you what we're doing. I'm actually reducing it at the same time finishing it up. So when I reduce this gravy, I only saw 2 of those. There's another one in here somewhere. Nope, that's not it. Well, wherever it's at, we'll find it. Of course. So I'm reducing it right now. I put the lecithin in to take care of the fat off of it. And if I have to add more, I'll add more. Go get a spoon and taste.
That is good. Well, I'm sure some of you would say it needs more salt, but when I use the kelp, you don't have that strong salt taste there. It sort of mellows it out. And you see the lecithin, what it did? It's great. And I'm glad I put Jerusalem artichoke powder in here. Helps with it, gives it a really nice flavor. I just have to let this reduce, and that's pretty much it, because I want it a little thicker. I don't want it so watery, but that is the whole dish right there. And you know what I'm going to do with these bones? I'm going to save them. I think that was because going at the hunting camp and everything, I just learned we had to be economical. And as I read about the past, these women were highly economical. There wasn't much that went to waste. They couldn't afford it. You know, and when they say they couldn't afford it, there was a life and death situation. Today we have, people can run to welfare and get help and stuff. Before, you didn't make it, that was it. So it was very important that they used everything they had. And when you think about it, they didn't have the waste that we have today. That's why we have an earth today to live in, the way we're going. If we don't get our act together, we're going to leave nothing but a filth for generations to come. Oh yes, it's thickening up nice now. You could actually put this in a soup bowl and grill or toast some bread. It'd be very nice. Well, I'll show you when it finishes reducing. Okay, here's the dish. That's it. Now, what am I going to serve it over? I have leftover polenta. I have leftover pasta, like I told you. I'm going to serve it over that. And I'll probably serve a salad next to it, you know, to cover. I might put, well, you know I'm going to put everything but the kitchen sink in it when I start making salads. As to the vinaigrette, I haven't decided which one I want to make yet. But anyway, you take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.